I'm Doug Toomer. I want to thank everybody for coming to Stand Up for Idaho tonight. We have a very special event. Have three very special ladies. You've heard of many of them, most of them, I'm sure. Dr. Judy Mikovich. I'm not going to, Judy, would you stand up for a minute? I'm going to I'll just have these ladies stand real briefly and so that you can see them, but I'm not going to tell their backgrounds. I'm going to let them talk, and tonight is for them. And I really appreciate everybody coming, and like I say, the message that they have is very important. And Miste Karlfeldt, see standing here, and Leslie Menakuyan. Okay, I appreciate everybody coming tonight to listen to them. Like I say, it's going to be a very informative evening. It may be it's a hard topic that we all have to listen to, but it's something that we have to face, and we have to stand up and do some things, and it's about time. And with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to Miste. Thank you. Let's give her a big hand, please. Thank you.
It's really not the best moment when I just found out that baby Cyrus was, the judge decided to keep him in foster care. I just want to arm you with a little bit of truth regarding this situation as you read things online. I know this family very well. I've held baby Cyrus in my arms. He's precious and he's loved. He's well loved. In fact, he has a great big family that adores him as he's the first grandchild. I will tell you, I want you to have this little piece of information when anybody tries to tell you there's got to be something else. The functional medicine place that he was going to after he had been in the emergency room and he was released on Friday. I saw baby Cyrus on Saturday. On the 7th, he was seen at the functional medicine place, Functional Medicine of Idaho, I believe it's called. On the 10th, he was also seen by Aaron Dykstra. And then by the 11th in the morning, Mom didn't feel well. Some people say, well, why did she have her keep her dinner appointment, date in the evening? How many of us slept it off in the morning? I think she needed some rest. Her baby had been in the ER. She didn't feel well by Friday. She had been stressed, as we all would be. Saturday morning, he had seemed to be improving, Friday morning. Those other dates, the 7th and the 10th, he was improving. Her body let down. And now she could rest, and she was tired. She didn't feel well. She slept it off and felt better, and by the evening, she was able to keep her dinner appointment. But by 2 o'clock, CPS had contacted them. How does that make any sense? They saw the baby on the 7th. They saw the baby on the 10th. The 11th in the morning, she called and let them know she didn't feel well. And by 2 o'clock, CPS is involved. And by that night, she's arrested and her baby taken. Does that make any sense? This is an interference of us as parents. The government wants to be our God. The government wants to tell us how to parent, and if we don't do it the way they say, which is complete pharma and complete their control, then they're just going to take our babies. I'm telling you, every activist is concerned right now. We cannot live in fear of our government, that if we take a stand, that they're going to take our babies. So, what I have to talk about today is regarding Governor Little and what he did that has made this situation extra dire. So I'm going to carry on in the name of baby Cyrus and his family because I want you all to know what Governor Little has done in the name of the state of emergency and in the name of COVID. Something else interesting, my phone will not let me go live. Has a black screen. I use StreamYard all the time for all my things, and it's just spinning and it's black. It won't let me go live. I tried removing all of our names in case that was it. Will not let me go live. I'm assuming and I always wondered about, like, maybe it's proximity. No, it's definitely my phone. Don't be surprised if I ditch my phone. So I'm going to carry on, friends, because we must. We must. And we must know what the governor has done to Idaho. So I am Miste Karlfeldt. I'm the co-director of Health Freedom Idaho. This is our mission. We are driven to guard and protect freedom from the toxins in our air, water, and bodies. We are dedicated to the assurance of informed consent in medical procedures. We are committed to preserving parental rights to make healthcare decisions for our families. An emergency declaration is limited to 60 days. That's according to Idaho law, which we'll go through in a minute. Idaho's emergency declaration is now 734 days old. This is King Little. Our Idaho government is out of balance. Emergency declarations allow the governor to suspend rules, remember that, but not laws. And laws are also often referred to as Idaho Code. Article 2 of the Idaho Constitution is very clear about the separation of powers, and yet we continue to operate under the emergency from its first declaration, March 13th, 2020. The COVID-19 emergency declaration timeline, let's go through it really quickly. On March 13th, Governor Little declares a state of emergency, and the clock starts ticking on the 30 days. March 18th, Little writes a new temporary rule to restrict pharmacists from dispensing hydrochloroquine for off-label use. How did he actually get ahead of the narrative on that, as did so many other governors? March 23rd, by proclamation, governor suspends 125 plus rules. Hundreds of rules are suspended, but most concerning are parents' rights when children are taken into state custody. No visitation, no notice of transfer of children, changes to facility requirements where children are housed in state custody regarding the number of bathrooms, and and at this point, we had 9 COVID hospitalizations in Idaho out of 1,118 hospital beds, representing a mere 0.5 utilization rate of hospital beds. Does that seem like we were in a state of emergency? Here he is declaring a state of emergency when we have 9 people in the hospital because of COVID. March 25th, the governor declares an extreme state of emergency, and that restarts the clock. The state of emergency, extreme state of emergency on March 25th, invoking code 46-4601. This is the martial law code. Now, patriots screamed and yelled about that martial law, and he rescinded that. And that is the effect when you take action. You said, no, we're not going to live under martial law, and yet we still live under the state of emergency. Governor Brad Little used his emergency powers to suspend Idaho laws to protect our children. Let's go through these. And this is why. This is why even what's going on with Marissa and family and Cyrus is because he suspended these rules under the state of emergency. I've been shouting about this for 2 years, but Facebook and social media won't let me get out, so I have to have every opportunity to get a microphone to tell parents the dire situation we are in. Under the state of emergency, because of COVID, they suspended the right to visit your child should CPS take your child. Under the state of emergency, Governor Little suspended the notification of placement, so you don't get to know where your child goes should CPS take your child. Under the state of emergency, because of COVID, there's a notification of change in visitation you don't get to know. You don't get to see your child in person. You don't have the right to even participate in the appeal. Does it make sense that these rules are suspended in the name of COVID? And this happened when we have 9 people in hospital beds? This is about tyranny and control. It is not about COVID. It never was about COVID. The minute I saw these rules suspended, you have to know it's about tyranny and control, not about COVID. The numbers are there, and the evidence is there. So now on April 24th, 2020, Little extends the emergency declarations and waives more regulations. More accurately, he changes election law. using the COVID-19 emergency. Remember, he's not allowed to change the law under the state of emergency, but he did it anyway. And who's holding him accountable? Not the AG, not AG Wasden. The governor writes rules to restrict effective treatments for COVID, then calls a special session to establish immunity from civil liability, which we, again, the people said no. They were trying to give immunity to businesses so that they could then require the businesses to require the vaccines, and you would have to have it to go in, and nobody would have any liability for it. Of course, that's not how they framed it when they tried to sell it to the public. Just like they sell to the public, we're the most deregulated state. Deregulation, some of those regulations help us, like those rules I just read to you. On March 18th, the governor had the State Board of Pharmacy meet for a special session. At the governor's request, hydrochloroquine was restricted before it even became controversial. On March 26th, the Idaho State Board of Pharmacy also restricted azithromycin using the same wording. How in the world is our governor practicing medicine without a license? And again, where is our AG? Doing nothing except for word salading the law and telling the governor he can keep us in an unlawful state of emergency. That's what he's doing. And then he said on April 23rd, we're not going to return to normal until we have a vaccine. Did you hear him say that? I heard him say that, and I was like, there it is. He's a pharma shill. Stay home and wait for the vaccine, he said. That's not health advice, and it's not his place. Over the course of 2 years, legislators failed in their numerous attempts to rein in the governor's emergency status. Idaho legislatures' actions threaten a vaccine rollout and Idaho's prosperity. That's what he said. That was his press conference. Because we wanted to end the state of emergency. And he said, oh, we can't end the state of emergency. That's going to stop our funding. Do you all care if the federal funding stops when it comes to the vaccine rollout? Let's go ahead and stop that. Not Governor Little. He wants that money. I've been calling it Governor Little's spending emergency. Idaho's state of emergency allowed the governor to accept $257 million in FEMA funds and $1.25 billion from the federal government CARES Act. You know there's strings attached to that, right? Pages and pages and pages of strings. And suspending the rules that he suspended goes hand in hand with those strings. The Governor Little misused his executive power. He has violated the 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 14th constitutional amendments. He shut down our churches. Our people are not secure in their person. He's deprived people of liberty. He's withheld public trials, speedy trials. He just put trials on pause. Completely unconstitutional, and then they just do it willy-nilly whenever they feel like it. Due process is gone. And our Attorney General Wasden does nothing but assist and help the governor be a tyrant. He word salads the law and keeps us in a state of emergency. He's done nothing to hold Tyrant Little accountable. So they keep the state of emergency going. And February 6th or 7th, it ended. And then there was this announcement that it was going to end on April 15th. And I was confused because there was no continuation. And when I went to the website, if you look at the bottom where it says page not found, I went to the website, which is on the COVID site, on our government site, to see what is the continuation, because every 30 days he continues it unlawfully. And it wasn't there. The whole tab was gone. So I couldn't even see if there was a new proclamation. What is extending it from February 6th or 7th to April 15th? It's completely gone. And then when we call the number on there, they say, oh, well, because he's removing it April 15th, we just removed it from the website. Oh, okay, so we no longer need to see, no longer have public eyes on what's going on in our government, and we no longer need to see the one that's current? Governor Little announced on Tuesday, March 8th, okay, public health disaster emergency declaration to end April 15th. Okay, so it goes to March, yes. I mean, this guy, he's hiding from public view because he doesn't want you to see, because elections are coming up. Any ease you feel now will be going away. So, did you all see his statement where he was talking about what a great governor he is, and he never locked us down, and he never put us in masks, and he fought the vaccine federally and all that garbage? Well, let's talk about facts. If Governor Little never shut down Idaho, then why did he create the guidelines to open up Idaho? Right? Fact, Governor Little ordered a statewide shutdown, classified businesses as essential and non-essential. Can I ask you, please, anybody in this room, did he declare non-essential? If he declared you non-essential, will you stand up? Who else was declared non-essential? Yep. Who else was non-essential? You didn't get to work because you were non-essential. You had to stay home. I guarantee you all of these people felt that their paycheck was essential. Feeding their families was essential. Paying their mortgage was essential. Who is he to tell us who is essential and who is not essential? And then he shut down our churches, our constitutional right to our churches. Now, here's what he said. Here's what it says on his order to self-isolate, which he says he didn't do. Read this order carefully. It says, violation or failure to comply with this order could constitute a misdemeanor punishable by fine, imprisonment, or both. Does that sound like he kept Idaho open? What a liar. A liar from the pit of hell. Now, the minute he said people were not essential, Health Freedom Idaho was down at the Capitol saying everybody is essential. I mean, within hours, we were down there. And then we gathered with other patriot groups, and we filled the Capitol, and we had an open Idaho rally, and we declared ourselves open outside of the governor's tyranny. This is another thing the patriots stopped. We, the people, stopped this unlawful, tyrannical form that they had on the Health and Welfare Department. Look at this. Use this form to express concerns about business and entities' compliance with the statewide stay-at-home order, the one he said he never did. It was right there on the Health and Welfare Department, and they wanted us to start ratting on our neighbors. And Idaho said, no, you take that down, and they did. Literally within days. That's the power you have in We the People. We are powerful. Don't let them tell you that we're not. Governor Brad Little announced on March 8th that Idaho will end the public state of emergency April 15th. Oh, great. He's implying as governor that he protected Idaho's citizens from the vaccine mandates. No, he didn't. He did not. And then, look at this right there. See, right there from the government website? Mandatory mask orders now in effect for all of Ada County. He never masked us? He's lying. And he's bold-faced lying, and he knows his media is in cahoots and will lie for him. Here's another fact. The capital city had both mask mandates and vaccine passport requirements. I couldn't go to the farmer's market in downtown Boise because they had the vaccine requirement. So tell me again, Governor Little, that you fought the mask mandate and the vaccine mandate. This is happening in our state, right here. The red counties are mask mandate in our state. Fact, thousands of employees are affected by vaccine mandates across the state. We've had some really great legislators, but they're not enough. We have maybe 15 who are willing to do anything. our lieutenant governor, Representative Priscilla Giddings running for lieutenant governor, Representative Tammy Nichols. I mean, even Ammon Bundy was down there at St. Luke's. Where was all of the rest of our legislators? Just missing, you know? There's about 15 that rotate, that go to what they can, and that's it. Governor Brad Little announced on March 8th, only the governor can lawfully end the emergency declaration. Sound tyrannical to you? I was accused of misusing that word at the beginning of this whole thing. Let's see. Idaho State, the statute itself says, the legislature by concurrent resolution may terminate a state of disaster emergency at any time. That's Idaho Code 46-1008. And guess what? Representative Heather Scott had a bill to end the state of emergency that passed the House and was headed to the Senate. And the day that it passed the House, Governor Little made this statement that he was going to end the state of emergency on April 15th. He didn't want the Senate swamp to hear that bill. He was protecting them from hearing that bill so that we can't see how they vote on it, so that we can't hold them accountable when it's time to go vote. I can tell you right now, even without you seeing that vote, the Senate has got to go. You gotta clean the Senate, guys. That's where all good bills go to die. I've been an activist since 2016, and that has been the saying since then. That's where all good bills go to die. I'm sure that was a saying long before me. That's where all the bad bills go, the ones that steal your freedom, pass through the Senate. And then they put pressure on the House to do the same. The good bills pass through the House and die in the Senate. And there is not enough pressure from the people to get it to change. And there's not enough voters, and there's not enough people running for office, but that's changing, isn't it? I've heard you guys have some really good people running for office, and I'm hoping to interview them, because this is the election. This is the election. This is the list of what we call the Freedom 15. Senator Christy Zitto, Regina Bear, she's a senator, that's a mistype. Representative Dorothy Moon, Representative Tammy Nichols, Representative Priscilla Giddings, Representative Heather Scott. But here, look at this list. It's going to be changing this next election, guys, because some of these are trying to reach higher to be able to do more for you. Some of them are switching from House to Senate to try to clean up the swamp. Things are going to be changing. We can't rely on these 15, and mostly from the House, because it's going to be changing. The political landscape will change. And it's going to be up to you to make sure to fill those seats with patriots. Oh my goodness. Remember the 9? Remember the 9 that were in the hospital when he declared a state of emergency? Right now, there's 437,931 statewide cases, and now he's going to remove the state of emergency? Does that make any sense to you? He's a liar. And he's stealing your freedom. And I read his statement today saying that, oh, this is out of the governor's control about babies being removed and CPS and health and welfare. The Health and Welfare Department is under the executive branch. That's his branch. He appointed the director. Do not believe him when he says he can't do anything. He's a liar. Literally everything that comes out of his mouth, no, it's the opposite. The only thing going down is vaccine administration rates. Gee, I wonder why. It might be because of people like Dr. Judy and Leslie Manookian. Oh, they can't have that. You know, we already bought and paid for those vaccines with our tax money. They've got to make sure we all get 1 or 2 or 3 or 5. Oh, this lie. I successfully challenged Biden's overreaching vaccine mandates in court. What a joke. Let's read the law. We have Idaho Health Freedom Act 39-9003, and guess what? Raul Labrador, who sits on the Central District Health Board, who is running for AG, helped draft this law years ago ahead of time. He co-authored that. And what it says is every person within the state of Idaho is and shall be free to choose or decline any mode of securing healthcare services without penalty or threat of penalty by the federal government of the United States of America. Could that be any more clear? That's clear. But they frightened everyone and said, oh my goodness, what are we going to do about Biden wanting to force vaccines? We were already protected. So he fear-mongered the people of Idaho so that he could pretend like he had the solution when we had protection all along, because he's a liar. All the power is within we the people, my friends. We are the leaders we have been waiting for. Don't wait for a political hero. You are that hero. Your neighbor is that hero. Your community is that hero. We have to be that hero right now and stop relying and hoping that somebody's going to come save us, because they aren't. Take the lead and exercise your rights. If you stand, I promise others will stand with you. Freedom requires your vigilance and your action. Can I see, are the people who are running for office, are they here? Can you hold up your hands? Anybody here? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Can you stand up, please? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If everybody in this room takes action, and I mean donating, going door to door, hanging door hangers, helping them pay for their flyers. My understanding is it takes 7 touches for someone to remember them when they go vote. That means they have to see their face, they have to see their sign, they have to meet them at a meet and greet. Every single one of you can help with something. The time is now, my friends, and you were created for such a time as this. I do not want to meet my maker and answer for not standing up or doing something when he created me for such a time as this. And he created you for such a time as this, so please take action. I'm assuming since you're here today, that's what you're about, right? Help your candidates, and please pray for the state of our nation. Please pray for our elections. Please pray for baby Cyrus. Please pray for everybody that's taking action. Thank you so much. Are we doing questions now? Oh, sure. If anybody has a question, I'm happy to answer it, and then I'm going to help Dr. Judy get set up. Yes, sir.
What would you suggest about visually helping the polling districts at election time?
I would say that's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, but when I ask the people who have the answer to that, they say we have to be there and monitoring it. And you can do that on behalf of the people running, right? So anybody can do that.
And you can't be denied entrance.
That's my understanding. That is my understanding, yes. But right, here's the question. They're doing all the things they can't do anyway. So when do we stop allowing it?
Right now.
Right, yes, sir, right now. When they take our babies, it's right now. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything in state law that protects federal employees? My son and daughter-in-law are both federal employees. Right now, they're on the cusp of losing their jobs because they're not getting vaccinated. Does the Utah laws protect them at all? Idaho, I'm sorry.
The Idaho laws.
I moved from Utah, I'm sorry.
Okay, Leslie is actually going to address that in her talk. Okay, you'll answer it, yeah, okay. Because she's working on those kind of lawsuits, so she'll be your gal. Okay, there's a hand over there.
Then I'll get you. Let's just have a couple, and then we'll get to Dr. Judy, and then we'll have some more question answer session after all of this too.
I was just curious about your point of view when you were talking about parental rights with medical.
Yeah.
How do you explain the controversy that's in the news right now about parental rights and transgender with young children? Because they say that's their parental right. What is your take on that?
I'm going to have to give that some thought if Health Freedom Idaho is going to take a position on that. So far, we have not taken a position on that. But I understand that that's fresh, new stuff in the news, but I've been honestly so wrapped up with what's going on with baby Cyrus, I haven't really gotten my team together to have a statement.
It's not really a question, but just to let people know that they've used federal money to pay off employers to do their bidding. My company was paid $1 billion of federal money to do their bidding. And most companies are being paid a lot of money, especially in this valley.
Can you prove, do you have evidence of that?
Yes, yes, it's a public notice.
I think,
Naval NRF has been paid $1 billion to do their bidding.
I think we'd all like to see that.
We've asked them in writing to what are you doing with this money? How is it being accounted for?
Yeah,
And why?
right,
They will not answer us.
right.
And that's how this is being done all across the country.
I think we'd all like to see that.